Okay, I see how this goes. What is going on, everybody? This is the Digital Cypha Podcast coming straight at you at 7, sorry, not 7, Saturday, 10 a.m. And that's 3 p.m. again.
Yeah, it
Bouncy
is
Digi?
3 p.m.
3 p.m. I got it right for the first
Hit it.
time.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you. We are here talking about gaming news, maybe a little bit of rumors. It is I, Ebonics, alongside with the Don CJG and Dio Zales. How's everyone doing?
Good, good. It's been a hard few days without internet, but we're back, and it's been an interesting last day or two on the internet, but get into that, I'm sure.
Bro, the fact that you had no internet, some people would see that as being free from the bounds of digital savory.
Dude, I had to read a book at one point. It was crazy.
He was reading a book. I bet you it was a Halo book.
No, it was The Alchemist.
Oh, okay.
More of a pretty face, you know what I mean?
All right. Dio, how you been, man?
Pretty good. Playing. Well, man, what was I playing this week? I was playing. It's new on the Game Pass. It was kind of like a Metrovania. God, it's like you're inside a computer program. Well, you are a computer program, kind of like trying to hack into a computer. Yes, that game.
What's the name of it?
Recompile.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I think
Pretty
you got
cool
it in
stuff,
like
man.
2 days ago, right?
Yeah,
I have to check that.
definitely recommend checking it out.
Recompile. All right. How was it?
Really cool. It's definitely very immersive. Like you feel like you're actually really exploring inside a computer. It's weird because you're never gonna do that in your life, right? But they make you feel like you are, and it's really cool. I really enjoyed it so far. I've been playing that instead of 12 minutes. I haven't tried 12 minutes yet. I definitely got to, but
Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah. On today's episodes, we are watching the Black Panther for Marvel Avengers. You will be seeing me suffer, so I will be ignoring that screen. As discussed last week, QuakeCon is this week, and then next week is going to be Gamescom. I have to admit, I did not watch QuakeCon. I started, and then there were so many technical bugs that I had to walk away, and I got to watch it moving on. Like day 2 was better than day 1, just from technical, stability. But I have to say, bro, like, it's almost like once you see one show, you've seen them all because they follow the same format, 2 people talking for a long period of time, and then they try to make jokes, and then they go into a video. Yeah. By that time you're probably sleeping. So
yeah.
For me, I got burnt out by online shows at this point when it came to games. I'm not that I don't want to watch it. It's just that starting soon, and then have like 2 hours and pending, and then the 2 hours is over, and then you have like this, nice little splash screen, and then somebody starts talking, and then they're like, "Oh, it's nice to see you. Oh, it's nice to see you. I wish I could be there next to you." It's like, okay, it's evident. Yeah, it's still pandemic. Come on, guys, let's get to the show. Let's get to the games. So yeah, it's I didn't get to watch it. I didn't watch it mainly because of that. But you guys did. What were some touching points for you guys regarding the QuakeCon?
Well, I watched more highlight reel because I didn't actually get to watch the live stream. I watched the main reveals for the Quake remaster, like we predicted last weekend. That came to light, and I think the other notable thing for me, at least, was another edition of Skyrim. We've all been waiting for. I know you're super stoked for that.
So let's go to your expectations, right? You had somewhat of an idea of what QuakeCon is, and you had some what you call it? What you would like to see before the show starts? I'm assuming. I forgot what they call it, but predictions, if you will. Did you have any of those?
I was personally thinking that they were going to show us some more of the Elder Scrolls 6. Maybe we'll see that today, but I kind of doubt it since they revealed, like how Don was saying, another Skyrim.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the Skyrim is kind of like a band-aid, like, hey, here's something to, hold you over until we were ready to announce more about Elder Scrolls 6.
What about you, Don? You had any predictions?
Not particularly. QuakeCon has always been an event it's kind of fallen under the radar for me, but I think mainly because Quake hasn't really had a massive presence within the last few years. It's been I don't know. It's been under the radar because it's just been laying under a rock, chilling out.
Right.
So I didn't go into the event expecting much, but I think I'm not surprised the new Skyrim edition now. It's it's a 10-year anniversary. They've already milked that game to death at this point. But fair play to them. And obviously, I guess the other expectation I had was the new Quake reveal because there was always a leak. But outside of that, that was kind of that's kind of all I expected from the event. Anything else I saw, it's just kind of forgettable.
So thinking about the Quake cons, because this would have been, I would say would have been a first for me, but because of the partnership and acquisition of Bethesda and Microsoft, it would have been also something that would have been highly, anticipated type of event for non-players as well. When looking at it for the first time, because I've never watched a QuakeCon before, and I'm talking about I've only spent maybe the first 20 minutes, bro. If that first 20 minutes, and then I started scrubbing through, was like watching a Bethesda showcase a little bit, and then going into like tournaments, and I was not really digging it, from that perspective. I was thinking QuakeCon 2021 new game, something of that nature, but then it was kind of like Quake 1, 2, and 3 was being, put onto Xbox, and then competition, like a competitive multiplayer, and then something about Deathloop and Skyrim and things of that nature. So it felt like a light Bethesda show, branded as QuakeCon to me.
Yeah, but I mean, QuakeCons have always been more about definitely new announcements, but really the multiplayer and like the community aspect of it. What really drove it for many years is pretty much like BOC, like bring your own computer. Like people will actually bring their computers there for like not only just tournaments, but just to play with each other. So it's obviously that didn't happen this year because of COVID, but
right.
That's really what QuakeCon's always been really about. Not really so much about new announcements, which they have had in the past, but just the community aspect of it. So I think overall it's cool, but for people who like you guys said, like you guys are not really have watched it before, it's not really something that you guys have enjoyed before, so it's definitely not something that you would expect to happen.
Yeah, it's like
I think I'd like to go to QuakeCon if it was I'd like to go to QuakeCon if it was BYOB instead of BOYC.
Yeah, not that.
No, sadly not.
The now bring it into the into light the Skyrim anniversary, right? Or that's what it is, Skyrim anniversary?
Yes, it's kind of because the other one was special edition. This one
special edition, gotcha.
This one's anniversary. It's a 10-year.
I feel like no, first and foremost, the mods, people who created all the like enhanced Skyrim, kudos to those guys because they put in some work, that's for sure. And I feel like that's what this is like all the mods become like a part of the game that was like approved through Bethesda. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, this could have been like like these features could have been learned from and became, Elder Scrolls 6. You know what I mean? Like the fishing joint. That's like, come on, guys, come on, fishing.
Yeah.
Hey,
You
maybe
know,
it's
like
gonna be in there now.
I mean, now you can think about it. I mean, will it be? Who knows? But I was just thinking about it, like, So this is what they did. They made the fourth. Is it the fourth edition, special edition?
Well, we had the original 360 release. They did mobile, and Switch, and then they had the Xbox One, which was special. And then this is anniversary, so probably like fourth or fifth.
Oh wow.
Yes.
There's been many iterations. I mean, there's even like a full audio version from Alexa where you kind of tell her what you want to do.
And it sounds like
there
a
is
guy,
a-
or something like that.
Yeah, like it's definitely interesting.
Is Skyrim on the fridge yet? Can you get it on the fridge?
No, I
I
think
do
that was
on
just a
the
joke. Yeah, but I overall, I mean, yeah, it's them selling Skyrim again. I'm not gonna like white knight for them and be like, oh, this is great, but I don't think there's anything necessarily really wrong with it because you don't really, not that obviously you don't have to buy anything, right? But even if you have the edition that just came out before the not special edition, special edition, it's still gonna have a upgrade for free, like with like to the XS. It's gonna have that higher quality, so you don't have to buy this. Like if you get the anniversary, first of all, if you had the special edition, it's just gonna be an upgrade, so you're not paying that full price. It's just to get all these Creation Club content in there, which I'm assuming, and they haven't put any prices out there, but I would assume it's just gonna be an extra $10 or $20 if you already have whatever
I
it
can't
is.
imagine it'll be too much, to be honest. I kind of look at it as just another expansion to the game, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's the best way to look at it. Like extra DLC.
I thought it was they're gonna give you like a whole new Skyrim game. Call it the anniversary or the special edition.
No. Well, they do have that also. But I mean, if you already had the special edition, you could look at this more like a DLC.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I know they would. I don't. Did they give any kind of benchmarks of what the game's gonna run out on anniversary?
It's
Or they
4K.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep, it's going to.
60 as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know there was a mod. What would unlock 60 FPS?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
So you can already get that now, but it's cool to have them actually officially do it.
Wasn't there like a co-op mod or something?
there is on the PC, but not on the consoles.
Gotcha.
And they didn't say anything about that being part of this. I kind of doubt it because that was just a mod. It wasn't part of the Creation Club.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, I mean, was there anything else that stood out so far from the QuakeCon that you guys, watched?
Honestly, with Deathloop, this is a game that I never really cared so much about, to tell you the truth. And not even because it was supposed to be exclusive at first for PlayStation. I think one thing that they're adding to the game, which is actually really interesting, but I have a feeling is going to be underutilized because I don't think the people who are going to play Deathloop are going to care about it. But they're actually adding PvP to the game, but in a different way. It's not going to be your typical, hey, you go into a queue and you're going to go against each other like 4v4 or deathmatch or whatever. It's going to be during the campaign, someone can queue as your rival and try to kill you while you're playing instead of having it be an NPC.
Right.
Which is actually really cool because it's not you as the main character, you're gonna have like 3 lives before you die and you fail, but your rival only has 1 life, so they have to play very well. Even though they get to interfere with your gameplay and invade your game, it's not like they could cheese you. Like, I mean, they're gonna only have 1 try to get you, when you have pretty much 3 tries to kill them and get them out of your game.
Okay.
So I think it's a pretty interesting thing. It doesn't sound like it's super developed to the point where you have to play this villain. Like, it doesn't sound like they're trying to reward that in any kind of progression system. It sounds like it's more just for fun. And I have a feeling because of that there's no real big reward for it. And because I think most people who are going to play this game are PvE players. Kind of like, I don't think it's going to be something super utilized, but I think it's just interesting they added it in for whatever sake.
So regarding that feature,
Yeah.
The villain, it has one life, right?
Yeah.
Got some questions. Maybe they spoke on this, but so the first part would be grieving, pretty much. Do you see people grieving? People who is trying to complete campaigns by jumping in as a villain and doing things that are kind of like outside the scope of what the villain's supposed to do.
Well, I think that's why they gave them only one life, right?
Mhm.
Because if they had as many lives as you, like, I mean, for you to lose to somebody who has one life and you had 3 lives, then obviously they totally outclass you as a player. I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, if you had 3 tries and they only have 1, and not only that, they have NPCs who are not directly under their control, but who are going to assist them in killing you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, if you lose, I mean, you shouldn't even feel like, oh, this guy's griefing me or this guy is trolling me. Is like, at this point, you're just really bad. Like,
because they gotta go through stealth and stuff like that to take you out. To avoid.
And I'm
So
sure
what you're saying is time to get good.
Yeah, and like I said, like I'm pretty sure that they even said that there was an option to turn that off. Like, you don't have to put PvP on. It's going to be something that's optional.
Well,
but
so that comes to the second question. I say, hey Don, jump into the game. I want you to be a villain. He says, and then he says, cool. And then I ask you where you at. He tells me where he is, and I kill him. And then I'm like, I'm free from that villain for how long? You know what I mean? Like, is a one hit kill. I'm assuming, or that person dies once. So does that complete that area of the game where that villain's no longer there until you have to defeat another boss? I mean, like, that's just another. Mm-hmm.
They didn't go into specifics about that, but I would assume, like, maybe every checkpoint or every chapter or however they divide their game, you'll have like a cooldown or something like that. But I know as the hero character, if you do kill the villain, you will get rewarded more if it is a player as opposed to the NPC. Like, you'll get better loot and better skill drops.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth doing. You do get rewarded for it, but I don't really see it. The only way I could really see this being abused is that scenario, like how you're saying, like having your buddy jump in, because that's kind of like a free kill. Like, hey, just stand there so I can kill you so I can get some new loot.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just that, but you don't have an opposition except for NPC. Meaning, you have 2 bosses. The person you're required to kill, so you can get out of the loop, and then you have the villain who's trying to kill you. Who's always in stealth. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the 2 bosses in every situation. So, killing that one boss with a cheese, how would that affect the other game? The gameplay with that person taking out the other bosses. I was just thinking about that, that type of scenario, because somebody probably will try it out to see what would happen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that mostly they gave the one life because they don't want to balance it to be a PvP game. I mean, I think they just added it for like a little bit of fun. That I know PvP is definitely not their main scope into this, because I definitely wouldn't recommend buying Deathloop for the PvP aspect of it, right? Like you shouldn't be buying Deathloop.
No.
If you want a PvP game, it's a PvE game that happens to have a PvP mini game, right?
Not even a mini game, just a feature. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much a feature. Yeah.
Like you jump into that PvP, be like, you know what? I just want to do something different. Let me just be the girl and mess up somebody else's experience if you can. So that's just, it's, to me, that's not even a PvP. That's I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean it reminds me of Dying Light. I don't know if you guys played that.
Or like the Jason or Jason or Evolve or something like that, but just 1v1.
God, Evolve.
Yeah,
well, at
Evolve.
least with Evolve, at least they were trying to make it a PvP. It was a PvP game, where this is even less than that. Like, this is more like Dying Light, because in Dying Light, you could turn the zombie hunt mode or whatever it was called on or off. And I remember when I played it when it first came out, zombie mode died super quick because people
wow.
would get frustrated. Oh yeah, they didn't like getting ganked by the zombie. It was pretty much a failed PvP system because it wasn't really balanced. And I think that's pretty much what's going to happen in this case too. The only reason I can see some people keeping it on is because you will get rewarded with better loot.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I don't really think so. 'Cause I think the majority of these players who are buying this game are PvE players who had no interest in PvP.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it is something interesting. I'm surprised that they added it, to tell you the truth.
Gotcha.
That's the only reason it stood out to me.
What about you, Don?
Deathloop?
Yeah, no. Well, you can talk if you have something about Deathloop. I was talking about the QuakeCon.
Couldn't care about
QuakeCon. This
No,
guy.
I didn't care too much about QuakeCon,
All
to
right.
be honest.
All
Just,
right, so
a few
we'll
announcements
move
and
away
events.
from the QuakeCon now. You know,
There was more to QuakeCon.
Okay.
It was like there's Fallout 76. They talked about it. Actually talked about pretty interesting stuff in Fallout 76. I mean, especially compared to Elder Scrolls Online.
You know,
Elder
I was
Scrolls Online.
I was waiting for that one. I didn't have the patience. What's going on with both of those?
Well, with ESO, I mean, it was kind of just saying what they've been doing in the game since it launched and where it's at now. So they didn't really announce anything new or different. They were just telling us when's the new DLC coming, which if you're an ESO player anyway, you know that it's pretty much done quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really a surprise. I believe it's like August 23rd for PC and then like September 8th for consoles is like the next DLC anyway.
Gotcha.
And right now they have a free play event that like finishes at the end of the month. So nothing really crazy new for Elder Scrolls Online. I honestly was pretty disappointed with that because that panel, first of all, felt pretty awkward. It felt like there was tension in the room, to tell you the truth.
Oh, now I gotta watch that. Now I gotta watch that.
Yeah, I don't know. At least to me, it just felt kind of weird because I've seen these people in sessions before, and for some reason this time it felt very awkward. I don't know. Maybe it was just me, like thinking too much into it, but it just felt like they were uncomfortable with each other. It felt like I don't know. Maybe because they knew that there was nothing to talk about. I don't know. But Fallout 76 had a lot to talk about actually.
Okay.
They are adding this thing called public worlds and custom worlds, which is like a new way to play in the game, where it's kind of a seasonal thing where they want, and not seasonal like in the traditional sense of like, you know, Fortnite
like battle
and
pass
other
type
games like
seasons.
that.
Right.
Yeah, it's not that. I mean, they do have their own version of that, but this is something different where they're giving you different game modes that every month they'll change up, where you could enter this world and the rule sets are very different. So like this month it might be it might be focused really about building and building as big or high as you can, or this month it might be about horde mode or whatever it is. And I know that sounds really basic, but I found it pretty interesting that they are still trying to find new ways for people to play in the game. And it sounds like they really do listen to a lot of the player feedback. A lot of these changes, it seems like, are things that the players are asking for, which is actually really cool.
Okay.
I think that it's definitely doing well, and I have a feeling it's going to keep getting better, honestly, especially if they keep going this route.
I would like to see a little bit like I want to say like a graphic overhaul with Fallout. Maybe they have done it already. I'm not sure, but if to me, I'm one like they did all the bug fixes and the optimizations so that the game is now playable, and it's been out for a very long time now, right? Like 4 years or something, maybe.
Maybe has it been that long already? I'm not sure. I think you might be right. It might be 3 or 4 years by now.
2015 Fallout 4. No, 4, right?
Not Fallout 4, Fallout 76.
Sorry, 76. My bad.
No.
2018. Bro, we're going through another GTA moment with Fallout, bro. Like, GTA is just on another level when it comes to, like, my goodness. So we're looking at 3 years. They've been out for 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So it'd be kind of cool if they man, if they gave it the Skyrim treatment, you know what I'm saying, like the 4K 60, the materials looking a little, because it does have like this, maybe damper look to it, if you will. But I don't know, that's just me though. Still a good game though. So Don CJG, what's happening with Halo, bro?
Oh dear me, what is not happening, huh?
I mean,
gosh.
Well, so we had the tech preview a while back,
yeah,
pretty awesome.
Early this month.
It was pretty awesome. High praises. People love the bots because they resemble human beings in some way, form, or fashion. They felt like they needed to test their skills by going back to the boot camp and start shooting up bots, testing out weapons and things of that nature, because they said they're like there's like 1 million bots were killed, and then 2 million bots were killed in the training grounds, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
like now news comes out, right, that certain parts of the game is going to be delayed, and now we got issues. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, so yesterday, I believe it was evening time for me, maybe about 7 o'clock. Free Halo channel released a YouTube video, which is a development update. It was like half an hour long, so it's quite lengthy. They kind of talked about a few things. So it's split in 2 segments, right? The first segment was kind of what they learned from the flight, and why they did what they did there. So it's kind of, we did bots because we wanted to understand how players learned the game and how well it felt to do that, which very positive reception there, and on some server stuff and bots and whatnot, such and such. Just, kind of general feedback and reassurance that they're fixing some of the main issues from that. And then the second half was with Joe Staten, who obviously came back from the Bungie days. I think he's creative director there or something on the project. And yeah, so there was a pretty lengthy talk with him, and he kind of then went into a few things to clarify. 2 big key pointers which kind of exploded were that the co-op campaign won't be available to launch, and neither will be Forge mode, which then set the internet on fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I after hearing the news, co-op, because, I think for me and probably for a lot of players, playing for the first time, especially for me, I do co-op legendary, midnight. That's tradition, right? So not being able to do that does suck. But then for me, it's like, oh, okay, I can't do that. Cool, I'll just play solo. Like that's my mindset, right? Unfortunately, not everyone else had that mindset, and a lot of people got very upset. There's a lot of different opinions out there. Some people want the game delayed, some people don't. It's been a bit of a mess online.
So they would want the game to be delayed to have co-op and Forge.
Yeah.
Is Forge even heavily utilized? What I mean heavily is like, let's say Halo has a community of 10 million people. I know there's a lot more than that, but 10 million people. In my mind, I'm thinking 5% of that 10 million uses the Forge, or less.
I would agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's probably why they did that, because the majority of the population or the community that is Halo would be on that multiplayer free-to-play experience and playing Master Chief solo, up until they get the co-op. You're still gonna have the free-to-play, multiplayer experience. That's releasing day one with Halo as a separate install. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out, okay, so co-op campaign-wise is now taking more precedence to the community than the multiplayer. And I have to ask why Halo felt that was necessary. If that's their strong suit, you know what I'm saying? If the story is their strong suit, why would they leave co-op out?
Well, I think there's a few reasons, and I kind of look at this current solution of leaving co-op and Forge out and releasing the game this holiday. I look at that as a compromise solution, right?
Okay.
I feel like that's the lesser of two evils, because they did talk about, when they mentioned this kind of thing of these two things aren't being in the game at launch, did they consider delaying the game again? And they said, yeah. we did consider that. But I think it's a difficult decision now where, in October, it would have been 6 years since Halo 5 came out. We've already had a year delay, and, you've got two options, right? You delay the game, another month, a couple months, another year, God knows, and release it then with a more complete package, or, playing a technical preview. The game's in pretty good shape, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least multiplayer wise. And campaign looks significantly better than it did last year. So I think, is it a better idea to release the game now, have the experience there for players, and then later on, here's this feature, here's this feature. It is a live service game after all, not to justify that parts of features of games should be coming in, but I think it's a case of, not like the game's success and lifespan is going to depend on these two things solely,
Well, the campaign itself, the campaign is supposed to be its own thing, not really. Is it? It's not going to be like a service.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
See, that's why it had me confused as well, because that was their reasoning behind it, was that the game is a live service and it's always evolving. So that's why I didn't understand.
Yeah, well,
that reasoning
it's the thing with
behind.
campaign. I think there are some potential comments what I alluded to. Campaign is going to be expanded on eventually throughout time.
Because they're going to make more money off of it.
Yeah, to what extent they haven't really clarified, but I think throughout the seasons later on, stuff could be going on in the campaign, but they haven't really specified too much on that.
Here's my thing with this, because I'm gonna hurt some feelings, right? But I kind of feel a little bit. There's a word the word I want to say is not the right word. Is a substitute. I'm trying to find it. I feel kind of in the dark now, right? With Halo, because when the game was supposed to release last year, was co-op not going to release then? You know what I mean?
This is a question people are raising as well.
So how much of development time was going to be sacrificed then compared to it being released this year? We have 4K 60 and all this other stuff, which is great, hands down, I would play a single player game. I don't need somebody to roll with me unless it is legendary. You know what I'm saying? And I walk with a 4-man team. That's the type of dude I am. But the co-op, outside of that, you can easily see that their main focus was the free to play.
Yeah.
Which, if that was the case, I don't think the campaign should have even been a thought process during last year's presentation. Honestly, Like, I think that Halo as a multiplayer experience should have been the foresight the whole way through, and then the campaign would have came out. If you already have the multiplayer, this will be connected to that. But of course, you just pay the $60 for the campaign. You know what I'm saying? Because it's free to play Halo. I think they would have already found a way to compete with Fortnite and compete with all these other cats if they released it that way, and then probably have a better idea how they want to release the campaign. You know what I'm saying? But doing it all at the same time and then running into this issue, it feels like, okay, so how much of development time was actually applied to campaign last year and this year? You know, that's why I say I feel a little bit in the dark now, because this shouldn't have been an issue, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah. From a logical standpoint, I understand what you're saying, Ebonics, but I think if they did that, they would alienate so much of their player base, because at the end of the day, Halo has an actual storyline that makes sense and is good. There's plenty of people who play Halo just for the PvE experience. I mean, you look at the Master Chief Collection, there's PvE quests and stuff just to get your season pass done.
Okay.
So if they did that, I think more people would have been very pissed. Like, if we think people are pissed off about not having co-op in PvE, having PvE completely like not part of the initial vision or even like delayed or whatever. Oh man, I don't know, man. I think like Halo would never recover from that.
Well, let's look at it from the perspective that there was no talk of a campaign. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's look back.
That's what I'm saying. People would be pissed.
Yeah. What I'm saying is,
I know what you're saying. I'm saying that this is not just a PvP game. If anything, I would say there's more people who, I think there's definitely a lot of people who like the PvP version, but I think most people, when they expect a Halo game, they expect a good story that they're gonna play and get through, and then they get into PvP after.
Yeah.
When they want.
Yeah, it's not like a Call of Duty where people come up with a campaign.
Well, this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if they put all that much development time into it, you know, smart, right? They could allude to the actual story to where now it's expected. Now, okay, there's something going on in the multiplayer that is making sense of the universe with Halo Wars and with ODST and with Halo 3, Halo 2, Halo 1. Like, there's something going on in this multiplayer that makes me very hyped about a campaign that is coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, but I think the problem with that right now, their vision is the multiplayer, the story behind what's going on in the multiplayer is expanding upon Infinite story. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's why they're not able to do that, I think. But I think now releasing the campaign and multiplayer, even if the campaign's not fully fleshed out with co-op, at least it's the best of both worlds, right? So if you want to play a campaign, the experience is there. And while you're waiting for the co-op to come, multiplayer is there. You know?
I just think that your average person wouldn't be able to understand what you're saying about it. Like they would be like, where's my campaign? They would just be so pissed. Like, they wouldn't care that PvP alludes to it. They would just be like, see, this is why gaming is bad. This is why blah blah. Like, they would just be so upset. I think like the weirdest thing, in my opinion, with this whole situation is that they got co-op working in PvP, but not PvP. I didn't realize there's that many people who PvP who do co-op. Because for me, at least, if I'm going to do PvP, I don't want someone sharing a screen with me, because I want to see the whole screen.
Yeah, no, I was playing Master Chief Collection yesterday, and I ran a few matches where it was, guy with 3 guests. I was like, this guy's fully committed.
I don't know. I just didn't realize there was a big portion of the player base that did that. So I mean, great on them for making sure that went through. But I still also believe that it should have been part of the game. I could kind of forgive Forge because, like Ebonic said, like, it has to be such a small portion in the community that does it, and it's not to excuse them. But I mean, like Ebonic said, it's priorities, right? I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Those who do Forge, they're like masters at it. You know what I'm saying?
They're sure.
They're like crazy at it. So I mean, if you're not accustomed to Forge, you're gonna look at that, make like a building, and move on. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know. But yeah, my bad. Deal.
No. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, like, it's just such a small portion of the community that's gonna use that. So I think that definitely could have waited. And I think even those players who use Forge would have been a lot more forgiving. At least maybe I'm wrong, but I think that they would be more forgiving because it's such a
I think
cool
it's
thing that
it's
you
like
can
a
work with.
niche part. It's like a niche part. Of
It is.
Yeah.
It really
sure.
is. But I think that they would be more forgiving because they would want to make sure that everything works correctly. So when they're
Right.
creating, because that's what they're doing, they're creating stuff. They're having fun doing that.
Right.
That it's more forgiving to make sure that their levels and whatever they build work the right way. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wish that co-op was part of the initial game. At least if they got 2-player co-op going, because I think even network play is not supposed to launch either.
Yeah. I don't think split screen is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Either. I think it's like you said. I think it's curious that split screen multiplayer is gonna work, but it won't for campaign. But I think there was a weird thing with MCC as well, which I think I saw someone mention in the forums Waypoint earlier. We look at Master Chief Collection. That game doesn't have crossplay campaign at the minute, and I think they've kind of cancelled that just because they weren't able to do it. And I do wonder how much of that same problem is going on in Infinite.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
And is
I don't know
I
if
figured that out.
So is
Yeah.
it the same engine for MCC?
No, they're using split space, but I think it's that crossplay thing again,
Okay.
right? I do wonder how much of an issue that's causing, right? Because I imagine if they've got the split screen multiplayer, imagine that's probably working to some degree co-op. But then if you're gonna do co-op campaign, I think you'd rather have that full experience available, whether you're doing a split screen or networking through consoles and PC, to have it available as a full co-op package rather than half co-op.
Yeah.
How much of the game is in the cloud that we know so far?
Good question.
Because if this game is running in the cloud, I'm assuming Game Pass Ultimate users playing it on their phones and browsers.
Yeah, imagine all of it, right?
That could be. So you have your Azure, and then your splits, your engine, whatever. I'm just thinking technically wise, like how this is working, because Microsoft is for crossplay. So I'm assuming that they would have had this already put together and ready. You know what I'm saying, with the Play Lab. You know what I'm saying, the Play Lab feature that they evangelize when you have the idea Xbox people coming in with games, and the other features they have. So to see this, I'm just wondering, like, what's the holdup? What technology is causing the most issue? Or, you know what I'm saying, like, what is it? So anyways, that's a lot. That's a lot with Halo, man.
I think, as a closing thought on it, I think this kind of thing will blow over fairly soon, right? There was a lot of discussion a while back with the idea of will Xbox One hold the game back, and like I said this not too long ago, that discussion's kind of just been silenced. No one said anything about that in a long time. And I think, as soon as the next flight comes out and it goes well, people are gonna brush this under the rug and go on to the next thing.
I think it'll be like a meme. They're gonna meme it until it gets out. Yeah.
I don't know. I think people are just mad because it's fresh.
What's going on with Call of Duty? Like it's Vanguard, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can we do a hard edit back to many moons and episodes ago where I called this information?
Wow. Oh, you got an insider giving you the Call of Duty?
Yeah, no, there was a leak a long time ago what kind of suggested it was going to be a World War II game called Vanguard.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, shockingly it came to light. I
I heard a lot of people didn't want that, like World War II experience.
Yeah. It's a strange one. I think, you know, Call of Duty World War II, the one that came out a couple of years ago, was quite well received. But then going back to Modern Warfare, which was, you know, everyone wanted a new modern Call of Duty game, which is great. And Black Ops is received fairly well too. But then we're going back to World War II again. You know, and I feel like, you know, games have this cycle. I know Battlefield especially. Every game's kind of went World War II, and it went a bit too far, you know? It's got a bit boring. It's not quite the same. But we'll see how it goes, right? 'Cause this is kind of a hypothetical what if World War II never ended kind of game. So maybe they'll have a bit more leeway in making the game a bit more exciting. So it's not just bolt action rifles.
Bro, I really hope they make it different than the other, you know, World War II games, because I wonder if they're gonna be recycling content from old games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's running on the same engine that Black Ops, Cold War, and Modern Warfare did.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember what it's called now, IW6 or something like that. But yeah, it'll be an interesting little game, right? And coming out November 5th too. So sticking to the November tradition, and I think, you know, not to dip back too far into Halo, but I think, you know, with Gamescom being in 3 days, we might see a release date for Halo now.
Yeah, I just wish that they would, and I think there's merit to going to these cycles where they revisit like World War II or World War One and stuff like that, and I think awesome, definitely do that. But I mean, they could have, you know, went back to Vietnam, right? They could have did that. They could even win something, and I know, like, you know, people don't like the slower guns and everything, but I have yet to see them do like a Civil War game, right? I think that can still be kind of interesting to an extent. And I know it would definitely be very slow paced, right? But you can still find a way to make things fun. I mean, Dark Souls is a very slow paced game, but once you get good at it, you see how you can up the ante. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's the thing that these people are kind of missing, is that they're just kind of, I hate to say it, but, you know, recycling like the same content. It's just a different flavor of the same thing. You know, this is a hamburger, but this is a cheeseburger, and this is whatever. You know, it's, like, give me a hot dog, give me like a chicken sandwich. You know, like, give me something completely different.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was weird how it was leaked out too. I think there was the season 4-5 update for Black Ops, and then all the files were just contained in that update for this game.
Yeah,
you know, like literally, the name and of the game and the thumbnail and everything, it was all there. And Call of Duty had to come out like,
yeah, even the name is the same. That's pretty crazy, because usually, like, you know, like, I mean, look like Xbox, right? Like Xbox Scorpio. I mean, it's almost never the same name.
Yeah,
so that's
Scorpio,
just crazy.
Scarlet, Durango
is the same.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see, because, you know, there's been some talk that World War II Vanguard, where, you know, Vanguard, I'm just going to call it that, has had a bit of a rough development allegedly. So we'll be interested to see how this turns out when it releases, because I believe Sledgehammer, you know, the last game they made was World War II, and then they kind of got cut off the Call of Duty block for a while. I'm not sure what happened, but obviously they're now back with Vanguard. So it'll be interesting to see how this actually turns out, and I think now in a couple months we'll see a bit more. Open beta, I believe, is coming out soonish. So we'll probably see that in September, maybe October.
Oh, wow.
So I'll give it a shot. You know, I couldn't say I liked Black Ops Cold War too much. It's a bit boring for me. But,
I like the theme, but yeah, it was pretty generic.
Like you said, I did wish for a Battlefield Vietnam game, but last we didn't get that.
Hey, Dio.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You about to say something?
No. I was just agreeing with Don.
Speaking about betas, have you jumped in on Diablo 2?
Yeah, we talked about that last weekend.
I thought it because they said something about the 20th to the 23rd beta or something.
Yeah, that's the open beta. Not anyone could jump on.
Got you. But you still had to pay for the game first though to get on the open beta.
I think this open beta is actually for anybody.
Okay. I should have gotten some more information on that because I was wondering where that open beta was going to be at. You know what I'm saying? Like Xbox, or is that Steam, or is that exclusively with Blizzard? You know, from their website. You know, trying to come up with some information on that.
I think it's on all platforms.
Let's see.
The open beta.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. Because I know, I mean, like I'll say closed beta with quotation marks. Because like if you bought the game, you pretty much got into that closed one, and that started on the 13th. And I believe, this one started the 20th, and it's open to anybody.
Awesome. So you heard it, guys.
Yeah, I could link in the description.
Yeah,
I think
I want to click on. I want to see because somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait until Diablo 2 remasters." Like, have you tried 3? I mean, have you tried 1? I mean, you know, like I'm just wondering. Like, some of the guys at work was talking about it, so I was like, I thought it was out already. So, as far as the ability to play the game before it comes out,
it'll be it's around the corner, so it's gonna be about a month away.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be crazy. The headset. Xbox came out with a $60 headset.
That was surprising.
Yeah. While the $100 headset is still making waves. So, have you guys looked into that new $60 headset? What's going on with that?
I did look at it. I won't buy it because my Astros still work fine. But I do think it's a very nice solution for someone who doesn't have a headset. I will say that. It's looking pretty impressive. You know, like I know you have the wireless one, and you know it's pretty well received.
Right. Yeah.
So I imagine just being a wired version, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, can't imagine it'll do all right. You know, it'll do all right.
So based on what's been said about the $60 version of the Xbox headset, you won't get any Bluetooth. It's going to be completely wired.
Yep.
If you have a thing against green, you know it's going to be green wires and, you know, quarter-inch tips or whatever. So, but it's Xbox, so hopefully you would, you know, shoot over that. And some of the expensive things. When I say expensive things, I'm wondering if they're talking about the Atmos or the spatial audio or.
Oh yeah, Dolby Atmos.
Yeah, I'm wondering if when they said the other expensive features from the wireless headset is not going to be in there. I wonder if that's what they were talking about. But it looks pretty cool. It looks like a. Would you consider it premium though? Like it's $60, but can $60 still have that premium feel for gaming?
I think, you know, it's compared to a lot of the other headsets what have been out there for Xbox's history, you know. Obviously Series doesn't come with one, but as a it's a mid-market first party headset. I think it'll be all right, you know. Considering to the 360 helmet headset or helmet or the the original Xbox One headset was very flimsy. it only looks a bit better build quality, right? And I think pairing it with something like a Series S or a Series X whenever those restocks come, you know, it's not too much of a put down in price. So
do you guys remember the old wireless headset for 360? The one-eared, you know, over your ear. It wasn't even a headset. It was like a Bluetooth.
Oh, your little earpiece thing.
Yeah,
I love that thing. I love that.
What?
Yeah, I loved it.
customer service.
Yeah, dude, when that 13-year-old me with that, it was brilliant.
Were you walking around the whole neighborhood with that, being like, "Yo,
No,
what's up?"
High tech.
Got my little earpiece. It was, what was it? White and blue LED or something. I don't know. It was something.
Yeah, it was white, really, bit of gray on there. Then he had a Master Chief one too for Halo, but I didn't have that one.
Man, and then
Good old days. Good old days.
I'm telling you. And then all of a sudden, in the alpha group, there's a drop for 4K dashboards. I don't know. I mean, I think they're trying to. If they tried to drop it like silently, the media took it up like hardcore. Like, yo, finally Xbox drops a 4K.
You know why I think that got so much more traction was because the PS5 has a 4K dashboard. If they didn't have one, and Xbox did, they'd be like, who cares?
Right,
You know?
but here's my question. Because you don't even hear about PlayStation gamers talking about their 4K dashboards, though. You know what I'm saying?
You know, they only talked about it when we didn't have it. Now
Yeah,
it's
in the
like,
beginning they did.
Right, but so they talk about like, oh yeah, we got. But when you look at it, right, could you tell me the oohs and ahs that you've experienced with the 4K dashboard? I mean, I haven't heard anything yet. Yeah, you got it, but like, did you get that nice when a card flips to show you like secrets? Did it flip in 4K that made you feel like, yo, this is 4K? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
that's what I'm wondering. Like, what was it that made?
I mean,
you...
look, it's a menu screen, you know what I mean? With some pictures on it.
Exactly. So
I guess it really depends if, cause I know PlayStation does have some pretty nice themes
yeah.
that you
Yeah,
can download.
true.
So
PS5
depending on the
doesn't
theme that
have
you're
any at the
using,
minute though, right? Other than just the cards, what you get when you hover over a game.
I don't know. I haven't kept up with it in a while. I know like my
That's-
favorite one on the PS4
I believe that's
was,
what I've heard.
or like one of the Resident Evil games. It was really
Alright.
nice, but
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless you like really a collector of themes, it really doesn't make any difference.
Mhm.
Well, what does make a difference is Phil Spencer talking about the Stream Deck.
You're right.
Oh
that
yeah,
was,
that was pretty
that
cool.
was quite cool.
Yep.
See that? Big
I-
Phil.
I know we spoke about it earlier. I didn't get to, I saw it. I was like, yo, I gotta watch that. Oh, I gotta read it, and I didn't get a chance to read it. What happened? What Phil Spencer? He got his like a early hands-on approach to the Steam Deck, and then there's I guess it was headlined the Xbox Switch or something of that nature. It was weird. Like, what
Something
happened?
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, pretty much what he was pretty much saying that what we were guessing, like this is gonna be something that you could play Game Pass on. It's gonna work, and at the end of the day, Xbox cares more about gamers gaming. They don't care if you, not that they don't want you to have an Xbox or play on their platform, but if you don't have the platform, they still want you to enjoy games. I mean, not only is this evident with the Steam Deck, but I mean, even like look at this last game that just came out literally a day, like what, yesterday or the day before, Quake. That
Right.
25, 25-year edition comes out, and it's literally on the Switch day one. It's on the PlayStation and PlayStation 4 and 5 day one on Xboxes. They want gamers to game. They want them to have fun. So.
Right, everyone else is paying for that. Yo, I got it on Game Pass.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, he was talking about how Game Pass works smooth on it, and it's he's happy that they're gonna be supporting Game Pass. And
Right.
I'm really
This
excited.
is the
I
thing,
can't
it's
wait
another
for my
place to
Steam Deck.
play,
Oh yeah,
It's,
for
it's
sure.
another option. Like no matter where you go, hey, look,
Mm.
here's Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Obviously, that won't hold true for PS5 or whatever, or Switch at the minute, but it's giving gamers options. No matter how you play, hey, look, here's our great service.
And
Yeah, I
think,
mean they'll be able to play the game, but we'll have, like how Phil said, right? If you want to play it the best way, you play it on the Xbox on
Mhm.
our platform. I know,
You
like with Quake, we're gonna get certain mods that they won't be able to get and everything.
My bad, guys. I'm like, I'm thinking you guys are pausing, and you guys got more. I was like, Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I think one of the things they were talking about was that they haven't found a game that was not stable enough to play on the Steam Deck. So, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
One of the other issues that we're having is while Xbox is trying to get as much games out there as possible, PlayStation is holding games back, specifically on the PC side. A lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but we have a situation where when games come out, exclusive games come out on a PlayStation, PC players are thinking, hey, it's gonna come through on the PC side. I'm not sure if this is a Steam situation. I'm not sure if this is a PlayStation Now, which is, I guess, an app on the PC that you can play games on. I'm not sure where this is coming from, but it's getting people a little bit, on edge about how PlayStation's practices, because we look at Horizon Zero Dawn, released on 2017, and then now is on PC 2020. Days Gone 2019, and is now 2021 when it got released on PC, especially Uncharted 4 2016, and then came out this year. So there's like years, like gaps where PC guys would have to wait for an exclusive from PlayStation to play the game on their platform, on PC, whereas with Xbox, and it's funny because I say Xbox, but let's also consider who Xbox is partnered with. Sega and all these other guys, right? When they put their games on the platform, if they have the license to put it on the ultimate version, I mean, you play it on PC as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I don't want to say it's not gamer centric from like totally. I think it's like there's a 50-50 where I understand why you're doing it, but it still sucks that you're doing it, right? Because you're still trying to appeal to your exclusivity, which is the console itself. Yeah. How you guys feel about that? As far as that, if Xbox did that, where Halo was exclusive or is exclusive to Xbox, and then 5 years later they get to play it. Didn't that happen actually? Didn't that happen with one of the Halo games? Like the Master Chief Collection
MCC.
Was like a major milestone.
Yeah, MCC is already an example, right?
Yeah.
But it came to PC way later. I don't know how I'd necessarily feel because I don't really play PC, but I do wonder if PlayStation released their games on PC way later. It's because they know their fan base just kicks off. I feel like if PS5 guys or PlayStation guys, if they see their wholly exclusive title, and it's like, oh, it's coming to PC day one, they're like, what? Why? It's supposed to be ours,
Yeah.
I wonder if they wait 5 years. It's like, oh, they're bringing that game to PC. Oh, that's okay. It's old anyway. They can have it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I tend to wonder too, because this might be me, and Dio, you can jump in, you can chime in on this, is that I assume that maybe 60% of PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 gamers or community play on PC, right? Mainly because the games that they have are not multiplayer. Okay, not all of them. I would say I can't count because I don't know, right? But from the ones that I hear about, the ones that are being advertised, they're all single player games. So if all you have is single player games, where do you go to play multiplayer games? Not on PlayStation. You either have a PC or Xbox or Switch, so
yeah, I kind of feel the added, and I don't know if maybe Ebonix would be able to relate this better because he's an old man like me, but
oh gosh.
So I'm looking at the trends with Sony, right? And it's funny because I remember when Sony was kind of the dev that little guys went to, like, because I'm not just accounting this, but even like the whole indie situation, right?
You got Big Planet.
Well, PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, like, you had not only like big AAA games, but you had like everything. Like that's where everyone went to try to like get kind of like, you know, poke their head in and be like, hey, we have games too. And it was awesome because you just had such a huge array of games.
Mm-hmm.
Where Nintendo was kind of acting how Sony is now. It was like, we're the big dog. Our games are the most important ones. Mario, Zelda. And if we think your third party game is good, we'll promote it a little bit as long as we think that, you know, we'll get something out of it. And now it's kind of like tables have turned where Sony's doing this because now they're kind of like the big dog. And it's almost kind of like a way where I don't necessarily think it's because they're better, and I'm not trying to downplay what they've accomplished, but it's just out of just the fact that their consoles have always been stronger than Nintendo's ever since like the PlayStation 2 era.
Mm-hmm.
By default, this was like the kind of like the company to go to if you wanted like big AAA games. So they had the huge market share of like Japan, which has always been like the biggest console sellers, right? I mean, everyone else is catching up now, but that's where a lot of people always looked like, where is it trending in Japan? That's how we know where gaming is gonna go. And now you kind of see it the other way around, where now Nintendo is coming back, but they're the ones who are taking all the indies, plus their big, you know, their own like, you know, AAA games. And I think if it keeps going in this direction, right now, you know, PS5 still is stronger than the Switch, of course. But if, let's just say, Nintendo came out with something that was as strong as the PS5 and the Series X, I don't think Sony would be in such a great place anymore. And it's not to say that Xbox is not a rival to Sony and to Nintendo. I'm just saying in Japan itself, I mean, everyone knows like those are like the two big ones over there. Xbox is starting to really put a foothold in there too now. But the fact that the main reason why Sony, in my opinion, has been able to enjoy what it has is because by default, it just didn't really have that huge competitor in Japan, which is kind of like their main source of, you know, power. So I don't know. I don't like their practices, but I kind of feel like they do that because they can kind of get away with it. You know what I mean? So
the only thing that if I was someone who, you know, diehard PlayStation guy, the main problem I would have right now is the leverage that Xbox has, because right now the buzz is PC, and
yep.
the second part of that buzz is PC handheld. Okay, so the more games that Sony withholds from PC, the more games Xbox can put on. The more games Xbox has to the consumer that is PC.
Yeah, they can take up a large portion of that user base.
yeah.
And then when we look at Steam Deck, when we look at Game Pass, when we look at gaming through the browser on any device, I mean, we've had people in the Asian communities playing games on the Atari VCS, playing Xbox games like Game Pass games, on Atari VCS or on the smallest screen you can possibly think about. You know what I mean? Like, so to see these people experiment with Microsoft's or Xbox's technology, you know, they're creating the marketing. Like, the community is creating the marketing for Microsoft, for Xbox. Sony needs to be on par with that. Sony, you know, they probably feel at this point, hey, we are the market leader, this and that, whatever. But once this is just me, you know, I'm not throwing it out there and be like, yeah, what I say goes. That's not what I'm saying. I feel personally that once Steam Deck hits the market, right, and there's all these pre-ordered, you know, users playing Game Pass, playing Steam, at that point is where Sony's gonna feel it hard. The same way how Game Pass first came out, and then you had all the executives saying it's not gonna last long. And then now it's becoming, now you have NVIDIA Shield, you have Google doing it, you have Amazon doing it. You have, you know what I'm saying? You have Netflix doing it. You know, you have
names are entering the space.
You got Disney trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? Through LucasArts, you know, in one way, form, or fashion. So the only person who's not doing it is Nintendo and PlayStation. Well, I can't say Nintendo because I think PlayStation now is a forefather to Game Pass, right? Like they were the thought process of what Game Pass, what Microsoft said, hey, this is where they're at. Let's do something. And then boom, Game Pass. But then PlayStation now did not evolve until Game Pass came out with pricing, with games. And then Nintendo. I can't speak for Nintendo because I don't have a Switch, unfortunately. Yeah. But I'm sure they have some form of streaming platform.
They do, but it's only Nintendo games and Super Nintendo games at the moment.
Got you. But it's something, and it's stable.
Yeah, it's stable. I mean, you could download. You just download like the apps for them, and you can play whatever Nintendo and Super Nintendo games they have available, which is cool. But I mean, by now we should have Nintendo 64 in that. We should have GameCube. We should have Game Boy. Switch has been out long enough, you know.
There's still like game. I want to say bit games.
There's still like 8-bit and 16-bit games.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I in my thought process, I'm thinking they won't take that much bandwidth except for the communication back and forth between server and device. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
Not compared to like 720, 1080, 4K. You know what I mean? So yo, Nintendo, get on it. You know, Mario Brothers 3. I'm still have an itch for that game. I'm just saying. You know, and then what was it the one with Yoshi's Island? And
they had those on there.
Oh yeah? Okay, cool. Yeah. See, they just need to bring the Switch Pro. I was ready until they said.
The Steam Deck came out.
I was ready for the Switch Pro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, tell me about it. You know, because it was like, okay, Switch is coming out. I thought, hey, that's just a fad. You know what I'm saying? And then it became the biggest thing. I was like, okay, I'll wait until I upgrade. And then they were talking bad about the glass being scratched when you go through the deck and all this other stuff. I was like, okay, I'll wait.
You don't want the new screen on the Switch, you want?
Nah, bro. You basically just buying the same Switch. That's what it feels like to me. You're investing into old hardware with the OLED.
Yeah, very minor upgrade.
That's like playing a PS2 on OLED.
Hello, bro. So, but yeah, you make me lose my where I was, bro. Like, but
that's
anyways.
My talent.
Anyways, yeah, so not Switch, like PlayStation, they need to up their game. They need to have that platform like so synced with PC that it can be on the, what is it called? The Steam Deck as well. You know what I mean? Like it should be like I press a PlayStation button, boom, PlayStation comes in and I play God of War streaming. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be like that. You know, the question is it like that? Do they have plans for that? And if they don't, then they gave the platform to Microsoft. Like Steam don't care. They're just making a PC. In their head, they're just making a PC. That's it.
Yeah.
When it goes out, Xbox is just gonna kill it.
Yeah. I think a PlayStation equivalent will come eventually, but yeah, I just think the eventually is too far away.
Yeah. I think they're just too focused on these
exclusive
theatrical games. Yeah.
They put too much money on their PS5 that they can't look beyond that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And now they're rebranding the box, giving it a different look. I can see it happening like in the next year.
They put all that money in the PS5, but they couldn't make a good expandable storage slot.
Oh, okay. With heatsink and toothpaste, because I saw somebody put toothpaste on that heatsink already.
Really?
Anyways, yo, Dio. Speaking about Nintendo, what's going on with Pokemon, man? Like, yo, they had this little event going on with Pokemon, and is it something new?
Yeah, Pokemon Presents came out the other day. They announced a lot of stuff that people knew were coming. I mean, we already knew about Pokemon Unite because it's been
Yeah.
on the Switch for since July 21st, I think.
That's a battle royale, right?
It's no, it's
No,
more
no, no,
like
no, 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 no. MOBA. There we go.
yeah. So it's been on the Switch for a while, and it's gonna be on the mobile devices next month, and they're gonna have crossplay between them.
Okay.
It's a pretty decent game. It's pretty fun. It's not as I don't want to say that's not competitive because I mean obviously one side loses, one side wins, but it doesn't have that same toxicity that like something like League of Legends would have.
Gotcha.
So it's definitely something to dip your toes into, especially because it's free to play on the phone and on the Switch. Pokemon Go is getting a big update. I mean, that's been around for a while. I think people are expecting that. Pokemon Masters EX, another mobile game. It's kind of funny. They have a lot of mobile games now in Pokemon. This is getting another. I've never really played Pokemon Masters EX, but I am actually kind of interested now after seeing this 2-year anniversary celebration that they're releasing with. But
you said Pokemon
the big
Masters
thing to me,
EX?
yeah, Pokemon Masters EX. It's kind of like the closest thing they have to an MMO. I mean, besides Pokemon Go for Pokemon, but I'm still waiting for like a legit Pokemon MMO. That's what I really want. We saw more Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. These are remakes of these old games that they were good. You know, it's cool that they're doing this, but again, like, you know, I'd rather see something fresh and new, which they did release more information about Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is really new. I know some people were complaining saying that it looked bad, like graphically, but I think, you know, it doesn't release until January, and I'm sure they're gonna tighten things up by then. At least I would hope so. But I think the gameplay mechanics and the setting of the game are actually very interesting. The setting of the game is back in the past, when Pokeballs were handcrafted by trainers, and you have all these people in kimonos and traditional Japanese outfits.
Nice.
You're using Pokemon to like actually ride, like when you're in the air flying, and not less, you know, like in the old Pokemon games where you kind of just you put fly, but it just automatically takes you to another town. Like with this, you're gonna actually be able to explore this open world flying on a Pokemon, or on their back in the water swimming, or on their back like as a mount like through the ground. Like, so it's looking really cool. And it looks almost like the grounds for an MMO, but they still haven't taken that leap. Overall, it looks like a new experience, and I'm happy to see that. I just wish it was an MMO. I mean, I'm not gonna stop saying that because Temtem was a good game, and I'm still kind of waiting for that to get on the console. It was supposed to have been out by now, but it still isn't. But
Yo, you sound irked. You sound so irked about that.
Yeah,
his sentences were sharp.
Where is it?
Yeah, because I want to play on the Xbox with the boys. You know, like it's cool to play it on the console, and I mean on the PC and all. But it's supposed to have cross-play and cross-progression, and the fact that it's still not on any console, like not even like on the PlayStation or the Switch, like it was supposed to or whatever. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I know COVID has affected everybody, but I don't know how much that can affect that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that Temtem not on Xbox is not a COVID situation, bro.
Yeah, it just seems like there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a decent showing. It didn't last that long. It didn't overstay its welcome. The show itself was like, I think, maybe 15 minutes or something like that.
Oh, wow. That's super short.
Yeah, it was short and to the point, so I appreciated that. It had a lot of news, but it did it in a way that was efficient and kept your attention the whole time. I kind of wish a lot more shows were like this. Like I was saying earlier, like, you know, this typical showing that these big shows are doing nowadays with showing this streamer or this community manager, and I appreciate it to an extent, but a lot of these people really, really overstay their welcome. When we're there just to watch the news or even to watch a tournament, you know, we don't want to constantly see these people that we're not there to see.
Right.
You know?
You telling me you didn't like the 3-hour Xbox indie stream?
Oh my god. I liked it when I saw relevant news, but I definitely very, very disappointed when I would literally watch something and then I had 2 random streamers tell me what I just watched in detail, and not even in like detail like where they're providing information about the game, but what they think was happening, and their opinion is like, you're a Minecraft streamer, and you're just some other streamer. Like I don't know. It's just I know we're kind of doing the same thing in this podcast, but at least if people are coming to listen to this podcast, they know what they're coming to watch. They're listening to our opinions. Where if I'm going to watch a stream about some kind of game convention or news, like dev stream or whatever, I expect to like hear news.
It's a news event, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, have something new to the something new for us. Like if you haven't known, blah 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 blah, and a beta's coming out, or you can download it now, or I don't know. But Xbox did it, PlayStation did it, and I don't know about Nintendo. It just feels kind of old now.
Yeah, Nintendo, I had to admit, they've been doing the presentations the best when it comes to that respect of it. I won't say that they've been having the best games. They definitely have some cool games, but their presentation style is definitely a lot more palatable because of the fact that they're not shoving people in your face for like 20 minutes at a time.
Got you. So there's a situation that I want to bring up. Do you guys remember Kingdom of Alamar?
Yeah.
I recognize that name.
So, the devs and the staff members who are working on the game has finally gotten paid.
What?
Hey.
Yeah, they finally got paid.
Finally
got paid.
Remake came out a while ago, dude.
Finally gotten paid. No, we're talking. The remake is not the issue. They finally got paid from the original game.
No.
Yes.
When did the original game come out?
That came on 360, dude.
Yeah, 360. Bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, hold
on. What's it called again? I just lost my mindset here.
Kingdom
Amalur.
If we're thinking the same game, right?
Yes. Yes.
No. That came out like what, 2012 maybe? Let me look. Yeah, 2012.
That'd been a big paycheck,
2012.
I better get royalties and all kinds of stuff, man.
Yo, there's so much history behind this joint. Is ridiculous. What would have saved them? Somebody stood in a gap and just made it even worse. But it's like the main thing at this point is that they finally got paid, and it's anywhere between, I want to say 10 to 20% of what they should have been paid through the bankruptcy that was that happened to 38 studios.
That's insane.
It sure is, my friend. It sure is.
That's terrible.
Some people didn't get paid because they've moved multiple times. So that check is somewhere, being utilized. But yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, even if inflation was just normal, right? Like not this crazy inflation we're dealing with now, that's like almost 10 years ago. So like that money that they owe you now from back then is not the same amount, right? Like when these people are getting paid, I'm sure they're not getting paid based off of inflation, like literally getting paid on what the number value was. That's so terrible.
Yeah, bro. Wow.
It was a good game too. Just didn't. I don't know.
It was very good. I mean, first and foremost, it was supposed to be the WoW killer, and you can see it in the game. You can see what they were trying to do in the game. It ended up being a single player experience. What killed me was that was the what's it called? The
remaster?
It's a remaster, but it gave it a name.
Reawakening, I think it was.
The Reawakening, and that was basically the game, but remastered in 4K or maybe something of that nature. And then they sold the DLC as a higher price. It's like, yo, you are really trying. Yeah, Re-Reckoning. Yeah, they're really trying to milk this like crazy.
Well, I mean, the original studio was 38 Studios, right? So they went under. That's why these people didn't get paid, and then THQ bought it.
Right.
And I'm fine with them re-releasing it because hopefully enough people bought it and showed interest that THQ Nordic might make a second game, or maybe they actually will make an MMO of it. I kind of doubt they'll go the MMO route.
Mm-hmm.
But I would hope for at least a second game. That would be cool.
Okay. You haven't heard about that, Don? You haven't heard of that game before?
I've heard of the game, but I don't know much of it. I know that name.
Gotcha. So, last and not least, I was trying to get the video up and running, but that's not the case. The Chinese studio, I don't remember their name. I know Dio does.
Mm-hmm.
They released another trailer of Wukong, the Black Myth, and that game, that joint was very, very entertaining. It was.
Try to let you in on a secret.
Oh wait, hold up.
Dio's
trying to make a statement. I didn't trash the first. I just say it looked. It looked okay. I didn't say like it was. I wasn't impressed with it. And in the beginning of the trailer, I wasn't impressed in the beginning until I started actually seeing some fight stuff. Like he was walking through. He was walking through the snow. Right. He hits this dude. Right. And then he runs away from the dude, and the dude dies while he's running away. I was like, okay, maybe this is like a beta or something, right? And then he actually fights this monkey dude. Now, what caught me first was when this dude, the monkey dude, is like, he has this sword. He's swinging this sword. And that's like, yo. So this monkey who was eating this fruit all by his lonesomeness saw the Monkey King, right? And now he can fight. He could have fought from the beginning, but now he got skills. All right, so he's fighting, and I'm seeing like the level of detail even in the wind that hurts you. When that comes at the screen, I was like, yo, that's beautiful. So anyways, so it goes into other stuff. Some weird looking people, a head on top of an eagle, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. Some other stuff. I think the best part, which was the longest part of the video, was the dragon. That joint was ridiculous. I love that one. Yes. That one was real dope. I'm trying to download it so I can put it on here, but it's not letting me for some reason.
I was watching it with my kids and everything, and they thought it was really cool too.
It is pretty cool. And
the translation wasn't as clean as it should have been, but the dialogue went, from my understanding and from what I was told, it sounds a lot more interesting. So hopefully they get a better translator, because this sounds like it's going to be not only an interesting game story-wise, but like funny as well.
So what was going on with so the voices changed midway in the story. So there was two people talking. I'm assuming the Monkey King was talking in the beginning? No? Who was talking?
I'm not really completely sure of these people's relationship yet. I would have a better understanding if my Chinese was better, but it sounds like this kind of person is kind of like some kind of sage, and he's trying to guide Monkey King on his journey. But I am definitely very excited. I could definitely see it. I guess like why I was very impressed with the first one is because I've seen a lot of Chinese games before, and to see the amount of detail even in the first one was like impressive. So I knew like with more development time, as long as they don't go the cheap route, was going to be even better, and they have definitely delivered so far. I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed when I just saw Epic Games in the end, and I was like, oh no, like is this not going to come to console at all?
Oh no, it is. Like, it is coming to console.
Is it? Oh, I didn't see that.
There's there was something that showed up, not in the actual film. I did a little bit more research, and they did have a Xbox, PlayStation, Epic, and stuff like that. So there is a possibility. Can it change? Yes.
Of course, yeah.
There is a possibility. But yeah, I'm still trying to download it now. I don't think we got enough time. But but. I honestly, for me, this is just me speaking. I know Dio can can, he'll speak for himself on how he feels about it. But I think there's just a little bit more. I think it just needs a little bit more tweaking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
As far as impact, enemy to character impact. Yes. It felt a little off. Like he was hitting different monsters and they were like a certain distance away, and I was like, yo, there's no way he would have hit that. Like if I play this game today, I would feel like I was being cheated because they probably hit me faster than I hit them. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at certain types of combat type games or martial art games. So I know that they're still fixing things up. What was appealing was the different moves that they applied. Like there's a part where the Monkey King, he extends his staff so high so he can sit on top of it. I was like, yo, like only someone from Asia can think about something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no way, like I can't see like America like thinking on that level. Like I think there was another game. There's another Chinese developer, and it's a kung fu style game where the dude is fighting demons, and they stole his daughter, right? So now he's running after these guys, and this guy, he's running up bamboo trees, bro. And then he's standing on top of bamboo trees. I'm like, yo, this is straight off from the 80s like kung fu movies, bro. Like, yo, this is nonsense. Like literally, I gotta show this next week. Hey, remind me. I'll bring it up next week. It was ridiculous. I enjoyed it. Okay. Yeah, man. So the Black Myth, Wukong. Yeah, guys, keep doing it, man. I wasn't impressed in the beginning. I'm getting there. Just keep it up and bring it to Xbox, and then I'll really you got my money.
Imagine it comes to Game Pass.
No, I meant Xbox. I meant Xbox.
I meant Game Pass.
I don't think they'll bring it to Game Pass.
If it did though,
I think isn't that company they're underneath that one company that owns Epic Games? I forgot their name. Tencent, yeah. I think almost every major every major developer like studio is underneath Tencent in China, bro. Like I have to.
Yeah, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I was kind of worried that it would end up like getting cheapened. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely looking good. I definitely agree though. Like the hitboxes look a little funny, especially like with connecting certain attacks.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed it more with those little enemies and then the snow fight.
Yeah.
With the dragon fight, it was there, but not as prevalent. But yeah, it was definitely worse on the beginning part of it. And I was like, oh no, Ivanos is gonna be not as impressed now. He's gonna tell me he doesn't like it again. And so.
Yeah. Nah, it came out pretty evident to me, but I appreciate style, and that game showed some style. So. Yeah. I think that's the important thing, is if you can enjoy the game even in the midst of you notice a little bit of the issues being this far in development, and they're still looking to it's still in development, but they have like what console is going to be on, it's soon, so just do your thing, and I look forward to playing that game definitely. If we're going to be doing some bashments, I'll end it with this. So on the screen, I mentioned earlier that we were playing the Panther, the Black Panther.
Yes. The DLC. Correct.
It is good. It feels good, but dude, I am playing on normal. If you notice, the enemies had skulls on their heads. I thought the last time I saw a skull on somebody's head was that they were overpowered. Like I was underpowered. Right?
Yeah, that means they're a higher level than you.
So, and I also thought that when you're playing these DLCs, your character would match the enemies.
You would think.
I would think. So, you know what I'm saying? This is a normal difficulty. Bro, you already know how many times I died just to get to this one level, this part. I might as well have gone easy and you would have known. Y'all be saying I'm the awesome in this game. I'm still going through it. It's still his fighting I haven't played in a very long time, and I feel like his combos are wasted. When you're fighting enemies, they're not like there isn't a way to stop the animation. So, and I think this is where with all the Marvel characters too. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of disappointment where you're getting into the action. You're doing a combo, and then you have to finish a combo before you get to the enemy. While the enemy's swinging their giant, axe at you and causing you damage. So, it does feel good though. So if you have the game, give it a shot, and just let us know in the comments. You're gonna be here next week, 10 a.m., 5 p.m. Europe time.
3 p.m.
3 p.m. European time. We go in, but I think it's still worth checking it out because it is the Black Panther guys. I mean,
Yes.
they're going through a story. The story is an alternate universe from the Chadwick story. So definitely.
And this DLC was free.
Yes, it's free. It's not
So
paid.
no reason not to try it out if you already own the game.
Right. So, all right. So that's it, guys. And you guys have anything else before we close it?
Next week's episodes will be GameCon centered, I imagine.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
There you go,
Let's get it.
GamesCon, 3 days. Tuesday. So make sure you tune in for that.
Yeah, man. What about you, Deal?
No, I'm just looking forward to GamesCon. I'm hoping that's going to be a really good showing.
Mm-hmm.
All of us are on Twitch. We also on the Twitter. So holla at us. We'd be happy to speak to you about games as well. So until then, this is the Digital Cypha Podcast with Ebonics, Dio, and the Don CJG. You guys have a good weekend.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.